viewers, welcome back. Thank you for your continued love and support. I know it's been a while, but I'm here now. If you are new, you are welcome to be part of this amazing family. My name is Judith. I'm based here in Thunder Bay, Northern Ontario, and I love sharing my journey and experiences here in Canada, hoping that it will help you somehow along the way if Canada is your destination. Now, two reasons actually prompted me to make this video today. The first one, let's say it's something that I've been thinking of doing for quite a while now, but I just didn't find the time, and I had to sit down and think of the best way to put this across because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm more confident when I'm coming to share about my journey based on my experiences. But what I'm doing now is based on my experience in Canada, and it was just a matter of finding the best way to do it. So that's one reason. The other reason is, so I was having a conversation with my friend, and I was telling her that this is the kind of video that I want to make, but I've been struggling because I don't really know how to do it. I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want it to seem as if I'm talking about someone. And she went on to tell me that, oh, that's actually a good idea because she is someone who encourages me, but at the same time she criticized me with the intention to make me better in everything that I do. So she told me, I watched your video where you shared your journey to the financial manager position, and most of your videos, yes, they are based on your experience. They are based on true stories, like what you've gone through. You are not lying, but you also need to go broader because you are sharing information with people who want to make Canada maybe their home or their destination one day. So it is only important that you dig deeper and you share even experiences, general experiences that people face, not only based on your stories. Because like I always say, stories are unique. Stories are different. Your story is your story. You own it. And another person's story could also be different. So I felt like I need to come and just give you guys, like a glimpse into what has been happening, like currently with immigrants who come to Canada. As you know, the current economic situation is not the best, and I think this is going on maybe worldwide, who knows. But Canada's cost of living, like the cost of living here, has been on the rise, I think, since last year. One time I even did a video where I was showing you doing groceries, and right now the current situation is, with $100, you don't really buy much. You don't even fill a plastic bag. So the cost of living has been going up. And the other thing also that I've noticed even in news and by reading and by following what is happening is that the unemployment rate itself in Canada has been going up. Like in the past year only, it has been steadily, slowly going up. And that also does not make the situation favorable for people who come in as immigrants with the intention to seek a better life. I know that most of my African brothers and sisters, when we come to Canada, we are coming to look for better opportunities. We are coming to look for greener pastures. But I want to tell you today that the greener pastures sometimes, guys, they are not as green as they look when we are in Africa. I also was once in the same situation where I would watch videos, I would see how life is in Canada. And when you are looking from outside without really living it and, being on the ground, the reality sometimes is very different. That's why I felt that it's very important for me to come and share with you guys the bad, the good, I'll share, so that when you make a decision, you are making an informed decision. So one thing that I'm going to stress is that when you are coming to Canada, you are better off if you are coming as a permanent resident. I've done a video again before where I was explaining the advantages of coming on permanent residence or coming in as an international student, visitor's visa, and all those other pathways. When you come in as a permanent resident, the struggle is not much as compared to someone who's coming in and they are starting from maybe being a visitor, being a temporary worker, and then they want to convert to permanent residence. If you are coming in maybe through express entry and you're already on permanent resident, your challenge is to find a job. You are going to find a job. Your challenge maybe could be, finding a career. Like, you might need to change your career, and that's one other reality that you need to know. When you come to Canada, sometimes you have to change your career because the career that you were doing back home, it's either the jobs are not on demand, or maybe the skills that you have, they are not on demand. And one thing for sure, if you come to Canada, you have to go back to school somehow. You need to obtain a certain qualification, a certain certification. Not necessarily go back to school and do a master's or a doctoral, but you need some kind of Canadian qualification for you to make it in the job market, for you to find that dream job. So if you're on permanent resident, you are not worrying about converting, your temporary status to become a permanent resident. You are only worrying about finding a job, settling down. So that removes at least one thing to worry about on your list. Now, my focus is on those people who come in as a visitor. Of late last year, was it sometime last year, when they introduced the policy where you can come on visitor's visa and convert it to permanent residence. And I think that is going on until next year. February 2025, if I'm not mistaken. But I did a video where I was giving the dates. So it's not that easy on the ground. Like I said, the unemployment rate itself has been on the rise. Canadians themselves, some of them, they are failing to find the best jobs that they want, the dream job, the Canadian dream that we have when we are coming back from Africa. Guys, on the ground, it's not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as it sounds. So today I just want to be as real as I can be and show you or tell you about the other side of Canada that many people don't really talk about. Right now, there are so many people who are coming into Canada as immigrants, and some people are even opting to go back to their original home countries because, life in Canada is not bearable. So it depends also on where you are coming from. Why are you coming to Canada? What are you looking for as you are coming? Because that is also going to determine whether you persevere, whether you are determined to make it. But at the same time, for you to make it, you need to have the facts. You need to know the reality on the ground. And the reality on the ground right now is Canada is focusing only on certain skills and categories of people, even in terms of jobs. So before you come, you need to do your research well and find out if you have the skills that Canada is looking for. Your skills that you have, you need to make a plan that when I'm on the ground, if you are coming on visitor's visa, what skills do you have? Are those skills convertible in such a way that whenever you come, you are going to be able to find a job? Because remember, when you are coming on visitor's visa, you have 6 months. 6 months for you to find a job. And when you find a job, you need an employer who is going to support you with what they call a positive labor market impact assessment. This is a document that proves to the government of Canada that we advertised this job. We tried to find a Canadian, but we could not. That's why we are hiring a foreign worker. Not many employers are willing to go down that path. One, it's time consuming. Two, it's costly. So when you are coming on your visitor's visa, don't be in a rush. I think I did a video. It's not that easy. You might spend the 6 months and you will not find a job. You may find a job, yes, but you will not find an employer who's willing to sponsor your work permit application process. So that's a big challenge. And that's a big challenge that many people who are coming on visitors visa are facing. It's easy when you are outside, when you are in Africa or wherever you are, that, okay, I'm getting a visitor's visa, I'm going to Canada. When I get there, now you can convert your visitor's visa to work permit. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of research so that when you come, you are not stranded. What skills do you have? It's not like you just come and you can find a job. When I was in Africa, sometimes I would watch videos where people uh, some videos, it's almost like as soon as you land in Canada, you'll find a job. I think you know my story, how I came thinking that as soon as I land, I'm going to find a caregiving job. Did I? I did not. Yes, things turned out well. But what I thought and my perception about Canada was different from the reality that I lived when I came. So I just want to put it out there so that you people know that coming on visitor's visa to convert to work permit, then permanent residence is not an easy walk in the park. And so many people who are coming on visitor's visa, they are finding it difficult to find the job. So you need to do your research work, lay your groundwork, lay the foundation when you are still in Africa. When I'm sharing this, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's possible, but it's difficult. It's very difficult, guys. I don't want to lie. Then I want to focus also on those people who come as international students. If you are a parent and you are planning to send your child to Canada to study, don't ever think that your child would come to Canada and work and be able to pay their fees, the cost of living. No. And buy textbooks and other things. That's not possible. And I don't want to lie, because so many international students, they end up getting stranded because as parents, when we are in Africa, we think, okay, when you go to Canada, after 2 months or so, or even within the first week, you'll find a job and you'll be able to work and you'll be able to support yourself. But the reality on the ground is not like that. Especially like in small cities like here in Thunder Bay, where I live, yes, it has its own advantages, but then it's not as easy as it sounds that you come in. Yes, you can work as an international student, but you can only work if you find the job. If you don't find the job, then you will not be able to work. So if you are a parent and you are sending your child, you need to make sure that at least the first year fees is paid. That's the advice I can give right now. Or even have the money to support them until they are done their studies, in case they don't manage to find a job, because sometimes they may not. Now, I'm going to use the story of my friend that I was telling you. She came into Canada and to study, and she studied, she did her master's and everything, and her master's program was 2 years. And when she was done, now she had to convert a student visa to postgraduate work permit, which she did, and she's been working. But then during her time of study, she never managed to work. She did not manage to find a job. And even when she was done, finding a job again was a struggle. And imagine someone who came into Canada, paid such a lot of high international student fees, and then it becomes again a struggle to find even that dream job. This is someone's story that I know, and they said I can use their story to explain this. I just want you to see how challenging it can be. So my story, my story is different. That's why I always say it's grace. It's grace, and I don't want to lie. When I look at my story and I look at what God has done for me, how we've settled here in Canada, I can only say it's God's grace. And it doesn't mean that we are special or anything, but we are grateful to God for what has happened and where we are right now. I've shared with you guys and you know, but I feel that it's also important for me to share with you how other people experience Canada when they come. Especially of late, it has been getting more challenging to find a dream job. So this friend of mine now, she got a postgraduate work permit. She managed to find work. She's been working, but then sometimes again to convert that postgraduate work permit to permanent residence, it's a challenge. That's why you need a plan. If you are coming as an international student, have a plan. Make sure that you are able to pay your fees in case you don't find a job. Make sure that you have support back home. Or if you are coming as a couple, then that works fine sometimes, because the other spouse then would concentrate on finding a job. So if it so happens that you are coming as a couple, I think that one is doable, but again, it's not easy. So the other spouse would be working, paying, maybe helping the other spouse who's studying to pay fees and the cost of living. And even the person who's studying, they also need to find a job so that they help each other. If you have a family, remember your kids can be studying for free. But I'm just sharing to let you guys know that it's not an easy walk in the park. The journey is not easy for some people. I know people who came as international students, and after 1 week, they were working already. But if I don't share with you about people also around me, or people that I've heard who came into Canada and they spent the course of their study, they never managed to work, then I'll not be doing real justice when I'm sharing information. Because at the end of the day, I want you to make an informed decision. So coming as an international student, have support back home, financial backup, so that if things don't work out the way you plan, if you don't find a job, you will still be able to pursue your studies. There are some international students who come and they end up even abandoning their studies. I've heard of such stories. People who came as international students, but because they could not keep up even with the pressure also of studying, and then they had to just abandon their studies and they went and looked for jobs. But then already their immigration process is messed up, because once the immigration officers realize that that's what you've done, then it means you have like very low, you don't have any chances in fact of converting your student visa to permanent residence. So I'm putting it out there, guys, so you know. The same applies to people who come on work permit. If you are coming on work permit, you are not worrying about your job, but you are again worrying about how you are going to convert the work permit to permanent residence. So, I mean, these are all the challenges that immigrants are facing. And sometimes you find people who are doctorate, people who have very good careers back home. They find themselves doing, very low paying jobs, what we call survival jobs, because they are not able to realize the Canadian dream. So what is my advice today? My advice today is, before you uproot everything that you know, even if you are coming on permanent residence, do your research. Weigh your costs, weigh your benefits. Why are you coming to Canada? If you are coming to look for a better life, better opportunities, yes, that will give you the drive that you need, the perseverance that you need, the determination to keep on moving even when the going gets tough. I just want you to know that it's not going to be easy to settle down. I see people, last time I was telling you that I see people who've done like more than 20 years here in Canada. And now when you look at them, you can see that they've achieved their dreams. They've managed to, get what they were pursuing when they came here. But was it easy? No. When you come, you find yourself studying, juggling work, juggling studies, juggling family and everything. That's what I'm doing right now, because you have to get a certain qualification, a certain certification, some skills that you need to add for you to be able to make it in the job market, for you to be able to, get that dream job. You don't just come in and sit. You might need to go back to school. So take all those factors into consideration, and the fact that the economy is not at its best right now. So many immigrants are actually leaving Canada, going back to their original home countries because it's not working in Canada. So before you come, weigh your options, make a decision. Is it really necessary for you to come? If you have a good job back home, if you have a business that you are running back home, you have a house, because the basics that everyone needs in life. For some of us, we came from countries where those basics, they are not even existent. Remember, for me, when I came with my family, we were coming from the Congo anyway. We had left, so we had experience of living in a foreign country. So the move to Canada was not really, I can say it was not drastic on my family, on my kids. They were used to living in a foreign land already. But there are so many challenges that you face when you come in. Establishing community, the challenges of finding that dream job. If you are an international student, the challenge, the pressure of having to study. Remember, this is a different education system from what you know. And at the same time, maybe your parents have sent you and they think you will find a job. All those challenges, you have to navigate them for you to make it. So my story was different, but my friend was calling me up and she said, no, 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 you need to share the other side so that people, when they come, they know what to expect and they make their decisions based on the good and the bad, and then you choose what is best for you. Well, I hope I've communicated what I wanted to communicate. I didn't expect this video to be that long, but I just thought it's high time I come and share that Canada right now, yes, it is good, it's okay. And I was discussing even with this friend of mine that, you know, for some people, especially like when you are coming from Africa, sometimes you are coming to look for a better life, and there's no going back home is not an option. But at the same time, I want you to know that even as you are coming, you should be ready to face the challenges, face the struggles that everyone else might be facing, face the struggle of finding that job, face the struggle of finding an employer who's willing to support you through the work permit application process if you come on visitor's visa, face the struggle of finding a job as an international student. After paying such a lot of money studying in Canada, you might find that after spending 5 years, 6 years in Canada studying and working, but you may not be able to convert your student visa to permanent residence. So take all those things into consideration and know what you are getting into. I don't want you to walk into the unknown. At least let this video be some reference point that you can use, and that will push you also to do the necessary research that is needed. It's not like when you come in the following day or 1 week after you are working. That's not how it is right now. And I've heard so many people who are going through the experience of not being able to find a job. Even the low paying jobs, they are difficult to find sometimes. And yeah, that's the reason why, guys, I thought, well, I should put it out there so that when people are making their decisions, they make them, but they know what they are getting into. And I hope this will help you as you keep on pursuing your Canadian dream. Yes, life, grace, and everything else, the universe may align, and eventually you can end up making it. But it's not as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as it looks. So I hope you keep on pursuing your Canadian dream. This is not to discourage you, but to help you make an informed decision. So I'll see you guys in my